How do I let go of the past? It's all really just about releasing the story you keep replaying, not in any significant way about deleting bad or good memories. You see, the ongoing commentary in your head about what it all means is the actual problem, if you want to even call it that. The "I should have known better," or "if only I had." The thing is, though, that that's not the past. An easy way to do this would be paying close attention when you realize your mind is replaying a situation in your head. When it starts, disassociate yourself from it. How? Just say, "That already happened." Sounds incredibly basic, but it breaks the illusion that your thoughts are actually doing something useful. The mind will of course fight it, because its job is to fix problems, even the ones that no longer exist. The next step is more physical. Since the body stores what the mind can't process, you should get it moving somehow. Anything works. Do whatever you like. Work out, take a stroll or a swim, clean your room. They can all help you release things faster than journaling for weeks. Yes, reflection works, but it does so very slowly. Learning by doing, and your nervous system learns fastest through action. Make your peace with not being perfect. The past only hurts because you think it should have or could have gone differently. Reality didn't mess up. You just had a script it didn't follow. So, what's the only logical conclusion here? Rid yourself of the script. Throw it out. You're not the same person who made those choices back in the day, and you couldn't have been. You didn't have the knowledge or the tools you have now. What's the point on dwelling on the what-ifs? Just take a look at someone like Selena Gomez, for example. She's been open about her mental health struggles and autoimmune illness. Instead of pretending those years didn't happen, she built Rare Beauty and My Mind and Me around them. It didn't take erasing her history to move on. What she did, however, was reframe it as raw material for what's next. So just do what she did. Stop trying to make the past prettier and start using it instead. And when all of that is done, you'll realize that there is no end to healing. The moment you catch yourself saying, "Once I'm over it," you've already postponed life again. Letting go happens when you stop making your peace conditional. The past is done. Get over it. The only thing keeping it alive is your attention. Stop giving it food. Why does rest make me feel guilty? We were trained to link rest with laziness. Somewhere along the line, doing nothing got labeled as wasting time. And wouldn't you know it, modern culture is all about productivity. So, of course, that is what it rewards. Hustle is the new morality. That's why staying home with the flu can trigger the same internal alarm as missing a deadline. It's simply conditioning. The next time you feel guilty because you took 2 days for yourself, rest assured that it is an identity problem, not a time management one. If your self-worth depends on being useful to society, then of course stopping means losing value. You've been running a background program that says, "I only matter when I produce." And wouldn't you know it, when you finally sit down and relax, your body panics. You've stopped existing in the only way it knows how. Look at someone like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. For years, his entire brand was literally built on 4 a.m. workouts, the grind, and no days off. Eventually, even he started talking about mental health and burnout. And it wasn't because he became lazy all of a sudden. He simply realized the always-on identity was unsustainable and unhealthy. The guy who once said, be the hardest worker in the room, now talks openly about rest as recovery. That even fits with him becoming the pebble he is now after stopping his obvious abuse of steroids. If you feel guilty when you rest, it's proof that your worth has been outsourced. The mind sees sitting around doing nothing as an existential threat because it has no metric to measure stillness. There is no way to post about it or monetize it somehow. And that's exactly why it's valuable. Rest isn't the opposite of progress. Practical move? Let your own productivity include recovery. Literally write it into your to-do list. Rest is equal to recharge. Treat it like washing your ass, non-negotiable maintenance. And if you feel guilty at the start, so what? That guilt is just the echo of old conditioning. Ignore it. The guilt will fade faster than the habit that created it in the first place. Do that for a while and you'll eventually realize that the more you rest without trying to earn it, the more focused you become when you actually work. That's how elite athletes train. They push, then pause. But they also take steroids, so don't expect their results. You've probably heard this before, but it bears repeating. You don't build muscle during the lift. You build it during recovery. Same with clarity, creativity, and sanity. Rest isn't some form of reward for finishing life's tasks. If you want to stay and be human, it's a requirement. If you need permission, here it is. You are allowed to stop. Why does everyone seem so sure of themselves except me? Simple. You're comparing your internal chaos to everyone else's highlight reel. What you see as confidence in others is usually just marketing. Most people aren't actually so sure of themselves. Who knew, right? Social media made it worse by rewarding fakeness over authenticity. Everyone's broadcasting a version of themselves that only looks so unbelievably sure of themselves, but behind the scenes, they're doing the same mental gymnastics you are. The difference is, you believe your thoughts while they sometimes don't believe theirs. Confidence is comfort with uncertainty. You think, I don't know what I'm doing, and treat that as a red flag. They think the same thing and just move anyway. Nothing more, nothing less. Take Zendaya. She looks effortlessly composed at every event, but she's talked about how she second-guesses everything. From interviews to roles to what she wears, what makes her come off as confident isn't that she never doubts herself, but that she doesn't let the doubt dictate her actions. She acts with uncertainty, not after it disappears. Feeling unsure is actually not a defect. It means you're paying attention. People who are too sure of themselves often stop learning. They operate on autopilot, mistaking repetition for mastery. You, on the other hand, are tuned in enough to notice the what-ifs. Comparison is the real problem here. You assume that everyone else's confidence is proof of something wrong with you. Of course, that's bullshit. It's nothing more than different coping strategies, different strokes for different folks. Some people mask their insecurity with bravado. Others shrink. Same route, different reaction. So, here is what you do. Stop looking for absolute certainty before you do something. It doesn't exist. Confidence is a mere side effect of repetition. You build it by doing things while unsure and realizing the world doesn't end. That's it. Allow yourself to make mistakes. Next time you're in a room full of confident people, remember, half of them are faking it. The other half are just as anxious as you are, and only a few just don't give a damn anymore. You're the same, but honest about it. Why do I feel lonely even when I'm with people? Being around people simply isn't the same as being with them. Loneliness isn't always just about isolation. Sometimes it's also about disconnection. You can be in a crowd, for instance, surrounded by laughter, and still feel invisible if no one's actually seeing the real you. Most social interaction today happens through personas, or in other words, the masks we wear to hide our vulnerability. You show your acceptable side, they show theirs, and both sides quietly wonder why it feels so fake. Do you see what's happening? You're filtering yourself to stay liked, holding back the unpopular opinions and all the weird quirks. And every time you do that, you're present physically, but absent emotionally. That disparity is what loneliness really is. The space between who you are and who you're pretending to be. Look at someone like Billie Eilish. At 17, she was globally famous, surrounded by people, and yet she kept saying she felt completely alone. Fame amplified her connection, only on paper, with her millions of fans, but minimized real intimacy. Only when she stopped trying to maintain the mystique and started being bluntly herself did that change. Her later interviews feel lighter because she stopped performing connection and started allowing it instead. So what can you do? The answer isn't more friends, and neither is finding your tribe or anything else external. The solution, as it is so often the case, is getting rid of the mask first. Stop trying to engineer belonging and instead give real connection a chance to happen. Start small. Say the honest thing when it's inconvenient, no matter how uncomfortable it might feel. For example, do you not feel like helping someone out? Then don't do it. Admit you're tired of small talk. Ask real questions, like, is our food making us sick? You'll notice how most people aren't actually used to it, but a few will lean in. Those are your people. The rest is just noise, and that's fine. You don't need 20 or more people on the same page as you. 1 or 2 are enough. All that matters is you not having to edit yourself mid-sentence. Loneliness virtually disappears when your outer and inner worlds match. Also, on a side note, be aware. Sometimes the loneliness you feel is more existential than social. You might be outgrowing the environments that used to fit. Who here still has really good friends from high school? Write it in the comments. Anyways, bottom line is this. You don't fix loneliness by adding people. Fix it by removing pretense. Then the right people finally recognize you. Is unconditional love even real or just an idea? Oh, it's real all right, but not in the way people usually mean it. Most unconditional love talk today is actually nothing more than a disguised negotiation. I'll love you as long as you stay who I want you to be. The second someone stops meeting our standards, the unconditional part suddenly and unexpectedly expires. What people call love is often just attachment mixed with control. Real unconditional love is neutrality. Like Switzerland used to be before Europe pressured it into taking sides. Practically, it's not about tolerating everything or being some kind of saint. Just remove the conditions your mind places on connection. The ego feeds on contrast, as in good and bad, or deserving and undeserving. When you make that mental scoring system disappear, what's left might feel pretty boring at first. Acceptance without agenda. It's just not performative anymore. Take Keanu Reeves. He's the closest modern example of someone embodying it publicly. The guy lost his best friend, his wife, and his child, yet never turned bitter or cynical. He doesn't project his pain onto others or seek validation through chaos. His kindness isn't selective. That's what happens when someone stops needing the world to behave a certain way. Unconditional love shows itself less like, "I'll love you forever," and more like, "I don't need you to be different for me to stay sane." It's why parents sometimes describe loving their kid, even when they're furious or disappointed. The same thing can exist between partners or friends, but only once the illusion of ownership disappears. The thing is, though, that you can't do unconditional love. You can only stop not doing it. Every condition you eliminate, like "they should text back," or "they should understand," or "they should never hurt me," moves you closer to it. And the more you expect others to give it to you first, the more you miss that it's actually not a transaction. So yes, unconditional love is real, but it's not a relationship goal. Most people get glimpses of it, in grief, in parenthood, in moments of forgiveness, and then go back to business as usual. You won't be able to sustain it forever. That's not the point. Just notice that it's possible and stop pretending it's fantasy. If that whet your appetite, check out our digital retreat. We have created a more structured approach that will guide you from sheer intellectual understanding you get from just watching these videos to actually seeing for yourself who you are and making this a part of your own experience. In this course, you will find meditations, videos, and pointers for the sole purpose of taking you from superficial knowledge to the deep recognition of your true self. There is also a free guided self-inquiry available on our channel, which might already be enough. All info is in the description box below,